we're 3 minutes into the Thursday edition of Today. Joburg Council Speaker Colleen Makhubele says the city's anti-corruption unit does not have a clear mandate. Now, this after she authorized an investigation into former executives of the council who she says used the group Forensics and Investigation Services to settle political scores. In fact, Forensic Report has declared all probes conducted by the GFIS into managers and councillors unlawful, null and void. We have our senior reporter Aviwe Mtila in studio with us right now to unpack this. Aviwe, I mean, there's a lot going on here and the conversations, I imagine, are multi-layered. But let's first talk about what came out of the briefing.
Well, William, the city's fraud and corruption busters don't have a clear mandate, essentially, and they're not supposed to be doing what they've been doing since they were put in place by the former mayor of Johannesburg, Herman Mashaba, back in 2016. That's according, of course, to the City of Johannesburg Speaker Colleen Makhubele, who suggests that they don't have a mandate to go after councillors, to investigate senior managers, nor do they have a mandate to look into the finances of the City of Johannesburg, which is basically what they've been doing. This, of course, is according to a report that's been tabled to the City of Johannesburg just last week on the 21st of June. That report presented from an investigation done by the current mayor, Carmelo Guamando, and of course the municipal council itself. Sure. So they've been looking into the mandate of the group Forensic Investigations Services and basically say that they don't have a mandate. So now there's an independent investigation that is going to be done, and we do understand, of course, this is from a tip-off actually from one of the people that work at GFIS, in fact, that suggested that they've been told to do rogue things that aren't actually constitutional and aren't in line with the law. In fact, let's take a listen to the Speaker of the City of Johannesburg as she lay out why they're going to have this investigation.
Right.
So let us begin with a bit of background to this report that was presented to Council. The report of the Executive Mayor came to Council after a disclosure dated 24 March 2023 by a certain official of the GFIS department. It was received by the current acting group head of GFIS. In this disclosure, the official stated that they were instructed by the former head of the GFIS unit, Mr. Sibia, to contravene the law and launch various rogue and clandestine investigations against senior officials and councillors. On 28 March 2023, this official was requested in writing that he must clarify certain aspects of what he stated in that particular disclosure. And those submissions were made and they were confirmed. This necessitated that a report be tabled first before Group Audit Committee, then to the Mayoral Committee, before it made its way to Council on the 21st of June 2023. I'm providing these facts regarding the extent of the illegality that was committed by the previous administration because it has been hidden in their media utterances. The disclosure itself confirmed that this report was submitted previously to the previous Speaker, Councillor Dagama, to the previous Mayor, Councillor Palatse, and to Councillor Knott. But this report never found its way to Council. It was therefore concealed from Council.
Very important points the Speaker is touching on there, Aviwe. I imagine the South African population would want to know when all of this would be concluded. Do we have a timeline?
Well, the promise, William, is that by the end of July, that's when the next council sitting is, they want to basically delve into the investigation itself. So we promised that it would have wrapped up essentially by then. In fact, we promised that by Friday, the senior council that will be leading the investigations will be announced and made public. One wonders, though, how independent will it all be? And is this not politics at play, given what you even heard, that this is a political witch hunt targeted towards the former administration? You wonder if this current administration, for example, a lot of them have been fingered by the GFIS, essentially, in the investigations. So you wonder if it's not all politics, but we'll see, essentially, from what comes out of the report, that we promise that and the investigations that will be done by the end of July.
In fact, I then need to ask you this as we wrap up. Is this not made to discredit the previous administration?
Well, that's the big bone of contention, and something that I actually asked quite pointedly to the Speaker, given that she herself was being investigated by GFIS itself, not only her, but of course a lot of leaders in the current administration, and some of them even in the Democratic Alliance, which led in the previous administration. But she maintains that this is not a political witch hunt, and it's not something to put an end to GFIS itself. In fact, they just want a clear mandate on what GFIS is supposed to do, because they're not supposed to be going after your senior managers. They're not supposed to be going after councillors. They're not supposed to be looking into the finances of the city of Johannesburg, which then begs the question, what is the actual mandate of GFIS, given that it was set up, in fact, to go after the rot that it's actually unearthed over the years since it was its inception back in 2016 under the leadership of then Mayor, was under the DA, of course, Herman Mashaba.
And all of that rot, Aviwe, sits with the allegedly executives, right? So they had to look into them.
Essentially, but another interesting part, because I actually asked, is this report itself that was tabled last week that led to these current investigations, of course, that were the person behind them is the Speaker. Is it independent? Is it an independent report? Is it done internally? And I got the answer that it's actually done by the current administration under the leadership of the current mayor, and you heard the basis of it. But of course, it's the mayoral executive team currently that did the investigations internally and actually found that GFIS was doing what it calls a political witch hunt.
Thank you so much, Aviwe Mtila, our senior reporter, clarifying the issues that have just come out of that report. We're going to move on.